At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
When did making plans get this complicated? It's time to streamline with WhatsApp, the secure messaging app that brings the whole group together. Use polls to settle dinner plans. Send event invites and pin messages so no one forgets Mom's 60th. And never miss a meme or milestone. All protected with end-to-end encryption. It's time for WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone. Learn more at whatsapp.com.
The show that asks the questions other shows are afraid to ask. The Last Show with David Cooper.
It is Vet Talk or Pet Talk, or is it Pet Talk or Vet Talk? A definitely not confusingly named time a week with veterinarian Dr. Cliff Redford, whose podcast Vet Life you can check out on your favorite podcast app. Now, Cliff, first of all, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Kind of an iconic figure in the veterinary, biology, animal researchy, greater ape living with world.
World conservation, everything.
Yeah. Jane Goodall died. She was not a young person, but it's sad, and she leaves behind her wonderful and voluminous career.
Yeah, and she was not a young person. She was 91 years old, and I think she knew something was going on in the sense of she was in Toronto recently, interviewed by our good friend George Strombolopoulos. And she even mentioned about how she said something along the lines of, I'm not going to be here forever and not much longer. And everyone booed and sort of, oh, that's sad.
They booed. No, they went, aw.
They booed like, no, don't say that, that sort of thing. What an amazing icon. And look, it's very sad she's gone, obviously, but I do like to have the perspective sometimes of an old man and try and be wise about it and say, look, we got 91 years with this saint in our lives and inspired so many people, including yours truly, to care about animals, to care about the world, and taught us so much and gave us so much hope. And that was one of her big messages about sort of maintaining hope for improving the world, and how even the tiniest little person, you or me included, we're both pretty short, could do quite a lot if we sort of put our minds together and our hearts together. So it's very sad that she's gone, but I like to think about how blessed we were that we had her in our lives and in our world.
Thank you for that. She was like a pioneer of modern conservation. She also helped us understand like social structures around apes in a way that like no other researchers did. And you're right. She was one of those people. I think of her as a helper, and I think of that Fred Rogers quote, like Mr. Rogers, where he said to his mother when he saw scary things as a boy in the news, his mother would just say, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." And so she was one of those people, and it's sad to lose her.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. She was a helper, and I use the term saint with her, and I'm not a very religious person at all, but if anyone's going to be, destined for sainthood, it should be Dr. Jane Goodall. Her big thing was she showed the world with her study in Tanzania with the chimpanzees that we are not the only creatures that use tools, and we're also not the only creatures that sort of have violence and hate in our lives. And so she showed the good and the bad about these animals, and then went on to just, again, inspire easily millions of people, millions and millions, and will continue to do so through her Jane Goodall Institute. So it's sad that she's gone, but let's feel lucky that she was on this earth at the same time as us.
All right. Thank you, Cliff. Again, that's well spoken. Who'd have thought? You well spoken. Even a broken clock should be thrown away or something.
Someone recently, a colleague of mine recently said that I have the perspective of a wise old man, and then I added, and the immaturity of his grandson. So there you go.
Stupid and smart. I mean, that's this show in a nutshell.
Silly and smart. Come on.
I mean, silly and smart, fine.
I'll take either one.
I mean, I bill this show as stupid and smart, but if you want to be under the silly and smart bucket, you can have it.
All right, thank you.
Let's talk pet mental health. My friend, who you know, Tony Five, who works on the show, yesterday was talking about Fireworks Day in the UK and how he's getting doggy Prozac just temporarily because his dog does not do well with fireworks. And it got me thinking about pet mental health because I know Miranda, my girlfriend, her family dog, may the dog rest in peace, was medicated for behavior. Mental health meds, the same ones they give humans in a different dose. And I think a lot of pet owners are worried about their mental health of their pets.
They are, both cat and dog owners. And we've talked a lot the last month or so on this wonderful show of yours about the sort of mental health benefits that people receive in having pets and in petting pets and having them in the room. But the studies have shown that like 99% of pet owners, according to this 45,000 person study, are concerned about their pets' mental health. Specifically, they were talking about separation anxiety and different anxieties, including noise anxieties. And yes, Tony he's not an unusual, well, he is an unusual character, but the way his pet needs Prozac is not an unusual situation. So I commonly am writing prescriptions for fluoxetine, which is Prozac, for clomipramine, which is also known as Clomicalm, which is another SSRI, or even tricyclic antidepressants like amitriptyline. So animals, they have depression. They have, arguably, from our last conversation, ADHD. They have...
Well, the separation anxiety is real. I mean, when we leave, my cat wails, yeah.
100%. And the thing about this study, it was sort of piggybacking off of the whole COVID-19 lockdown situation and how it became detrimental to pets' mental health.
Yeah, because their owners were around all the time. They got used to it. And then bada bing, bada boom, things opened back up. And we got pets that are expecting owners there 24/7.
Yeah, and it was also that animals were showing signs of anxiety when their owners were home. And the reason is pets need their alone time as well, not only to get away from us unhinged humans sometimes, but being alone for both people and for pets, so says my ex-wife, is good for us every once in a while if we're alone. And it builds up that sort of confidence. And then, there was less, for dogs, there was less walk times because people didn't want to leave their house. There was less socialization. Veterinarians had this sort of term, the COVID puppy, and the COVID puppies were ones that were raised that first 1 year of life during the lockdown, and they had zero social skills whatsoever. And in this study, one of the things I found really interesting, and it talks about sort of the bond between people and pets. 60% of people surveyed would actually change their jobs if their job conflicted with pet care needs that their pet had.
Are you surprised, though? Pets are a part of the family.
Exactly. No, I'm not. I'm not surprised. And I wouldn't have known what the number was, but I started to, think about it. I mean, I'm blessed that I can just take my pet to work if I need to, right? So obviously owning a veterinary clinic supports having animals if they have, pet care needs. But there's this strong connection. And, the last thing about this study was human therapists weighed in and said, there's this very, very clear link because we see our pets now as family, that paying attention to your pet's mental health and actually focusing on it and working to improve it improves your own mental health. This morning, I took my two bigger dogs out for a 3-mile run. And one of the main reasons I do it is my 10-month-old, my 11-month-old rescue from the Arctic North. He's got some high intellectual and energy demands. And if I don't get him out exercising, he goes a little wonky and he starts destroying stuff in the house. And he just becomes sort of overbearing. And so I take them for this run, and it really burns off some of these sort of chemicals, and it just chills them out, and it makes me feel better too. So you focus on your pet's mental health, and it's going to improve your mental health as well. So.
And I guess this study shows that more and more owners are at least worrying about it, hopefully also doing something about it as well. We're here with Dr. Cliff Redford. It is Vet Talk or Pet Talk. Check out Cliff's podcast, Vet Life, on your favorite podcast app. We'll be back with more of this in a moment, including why deadly pathogens are being found in certain pet foods.
Want to be part of the last show with David Cooper? Call us and join the conversation. 1-888-505-6644.
This episode is brought to you by Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels and music are made for each other. They share a rhythm in the craft of making something timeless, while being a part of legendary nights. From backyard jams to sold-out arenas, there's a song in every toast. Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Your above-average intelligence brought you here. It deserves above-average absurdity. This is The Last Show with David Cooper.
Dr. Cliff Redford is here, a veterinarian to the pets. How's that for an introduction? It is Vet Life. Go.
I mean, I could be a veterinarian to wild animals, which I am as well.
Yes.
So, as long as I'm not a veterinarian doctor to people, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, you can't treat people the way you would treat pets.
I treat pets way better than I treat people.
But I feel like you could sew up a wound, I feel like there's some basic medical stuff. I mean, you're not licensed to do it in a hospital, but if I needed a hand, maybe you could loan it.
Here's the thing. I can absolutely sew up a wound. I could I could do surgery on you, David, better than 95% of the MDs out there.
Yes, but if things go south, you got no insurance, my friend. And in court, I'm easy to sue you because you didn't have a license to do it.
That's true. But if things really go south and a zombie apocalypse hits, you want a veterinarian on your team way more than you want some family doctor.
Because you do it much more. You do it much more in a general way. And you just just no nonsense. Get in there, get out,
Get in there, get out, take your temperature, throw on a muzzle, check your prostate. There you go.
Whoa. All right, that'll be the after show. That'll be the on our OnlyFans.
The late show.
Cliff Redford is here. He is a veterinarian. It is Vet Talk or Pet Talk. I want to talk about raw pet food. I guess specifically based on this study, it's raw cat food. Do you recommend feeding your pets raw food? Is there any upside, or should we be doing cooked food because there is such an upside to cooked food?
There is no upside to feeding raw food whatsoever, cats or dogs.
There are hippy dippy people who believe this, and they're wrong.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's almost become the norm. It is definitely a conversation I have at least once a day, meaning it is a new person coming in talking about raw food for their cat or their dog. And I say new person because I have the conversation once and then that's it. Because if I continually tell people, look, what you're doing is not a good idea, both for your pet's health and for your health. It is a high zoonotic risk to people if they feed their pets, dog or cats, raw food. I can't keep talking about it. So I say it once and then I move on. And look, I still help them take care of their pets.
Think about this. You feed your Fufu the cat a horrible raw food with a pathogen, okay? The cat gets the pathogen. Where does the cat lick? Its rear end. Then where does also the cat lick? Its fur. What do? You kiss your cat on the fur. Bada bing, bada boom. That raw food with that pathogen is now yours.
You have just summed up this entire article and years of research in this brilliant 30 seconds. So we're going to talk about this article in specific eventually, but back in about 2004, a study was done at the University of Guelph, Ontario Veterinary College, one of the best veterinary schools in the world. And they basically took a group of dogs being fed raw food, raw meat, a group of dogs being fed the same meal, but they cooked it, and then a group of dogs being fed like kibble, cooked food in a commercialized kibble format. And all they did was they swabbed the backs of the dogs as if you're petting it. And all of the dogs being fed the raw food had E. coli, Klebsiella, Salmonella, Chronobacter, some nasty, nasty bacteria on their back. So the bacteria isn't really much of a risk for dogs or cats. They are designed, their digestive systems are designed to take in this raw meat. So unless your pet has sort of a very specific and unusual skin disorder or immune system, autoimmune disorder, that sort of thing, they're okay. But and this study now for cat food proves it. They are finding microbes, like I said, Salmonella, Chronobacter, E. coli, Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas is this bacteria that is highly, highly antibiotic resistant, causes lung infections, causes blood infections in people, obviously urinary tract infections, or at least it's obvious to doctors like myself. This is a serious, serious problem. And, a large percentage of the pet owners are going to be fine because their immune systems are good. But if you have the elderly in your house, if you have a young child in your house, if you have someone that's immunocompromised or on chemotherapeutics, or someone comes to your house from that group, or you're just unlucky, your pet's food, if it's raw, could kill you.
It's also harmful for your pet, not highly harmful, but it's also harmful for your pet. These pathogens can harm animals too.
They can. And I mean, there was a cat that died in California recently from avian influenza, from the bird flu, because they got it from the raw chicken that was in this raw meat cat food that they ate. And then there's parasites, hookworms, whipworms, trichinosis, trichomonas. How many scary words can I throw out here? There are so many problems. And the argument from pet owners who really do love their pets and are trying to do the right thing, they're just ill-informed. The arguments are, well, the animals, this is the natural world and this is what they were designed to eat. Sure, you could argue that. It's not really true because little Fluffy is as far away from a wild animal as possible.
And they take down the wild animals and they eat them. They're not slaughtered in a who knows what kind of level of sanitation or in the facility. Then the meat is stored over time. Is it left out? Does the temperature drop below freeze? What other meats did it come into contact with? Were the knives used to cut it up used on 7,000 other raw birds?
Yeah.
You don't know. So even though, yes, they eat raw meat in the wild, also the raw meat in the wild can harm them.
Well, that's the bigger thing is I don't think sanitation of the butchering process is that much, more problematic than catching whatever, a bunny rabbit out in the wild and eating it.
Our early ancestors took down woolly mammoths with spears, and that meat, when eaten raw, was bad for them. That's why we don't do it anymore.
Cooking the meat is what caused our brains to grow so fast over tens of thousands of years because we are finally getting the nutrients and we weren't dying from parasites.
Yep.
The average outdoor wolf lives about 4 years, and it is incredibly unusual to have a wolf live 8 years just because of all these diseases they're picking up. And there's some other factors there as well, but it's primarily that their nutrition sucks and they can't absorb the nutrients and they're getting parasites and therefore getting these nutrients stolen from them. The average wolf does not look very healthy when you go and see them in the wild. They feed wolves that are in captivity kibble. At least part of their diet is kibble, and then they have this massive sort of deworming process. So it is natural in the sense of so is early death in animals out in the wild. So if that's what you want to go for it. But there is no nutritional or health benefits. And in fact, the opposite is true. It is very poorly digested, poor nutrition, tons of parasites, And it's dangerous to the pets and dangerous to us.
Preach, preach, preach. Anyway, this paper, we didn't get into the nerdy part of it, but basically we covered it. Don't feed your pets raw food. There was an outbreak in raw food that was studied, and it can these pathogens can harm your pets. They can also harm you. Your cat eats it. Your cat licks itself because that's a normal thing cats do, and then it licks its fur, and then you pet it, and then you put your hand in your mouth. Bada bing, bada boom. You've got diphtheria. Probably not diphtheria, but something.
Probably not diphtheria. And the moral of the story is veterinarians can help you take care of your pet and yourself as well. So there you go. Listen to me.
Cliff Redford. Check out his podcast, Vet Life. It is a good one. I believe I've been on it.
I think so.
Go right to that episode. It's the only one worth listening to. Cliff, thank you for being on the show. It was a great pleasure.
Cheers, buddy.